In life, there are many things as a lead or a manager that you should always do. But nobody ever talks about the 5 things a manager should never do. So I wanted to focus my attention and shift. Sometimes we focus so much on the things a manager should do, it feels like it might be easier to enumerate the things that you shouldn't be doing instead. So I put together a list of the top 5 that I feel we need to stop doing immediately. Here we go. Number 1, ask for skip level feedback. I'm not saying not to ask for feedback at all. I'm saying not to ask for skip level feedback. So, what is that and why should you avoid it? Skip level feedback is when you ask your boss to conduct some one on one sessions with your direct reports with the goal of gathering feedback on how you're performing as a manager. This sounds like a great idea on the surface, and it is, provided you already know the feedback that you'll be receiving and you're okay with your manager hearing that feedback. I've personally seen this feedback tool backfire tremendously when receiving unexpected, unreliable feedback from subordinates. This could result in substantial time wasted on improving low value and low quality feedback. So just keep that in mind. Number 2, which might be the most important, never take on individual contributor work. While it may not be impossible to always avoid taking on IC work, you should under no circumstance do so without a plan. The work needs to be treated the same as any other work and undergo your company's standard development procedures. That means it needs to be managed in some way, and not by you. This is where it gets sticky because if you're the only one that really has availability to manage the projects for your team, now you need to look somewhere external to your team to acquire outside management assistance. If that assistance doesn't exist, then you need to push back on performing the work. Not only will your individual contributors' work potentially end in disaster, but every other project that your team is responsible for will be sorely lacking your leadership and expertise while you're too busy with your little side project. So my advice, find a way to say no. Barring that, make it clear that the impacts of ongoing project work and that your team will be lacking leadership if you take on the individual contributor work until the project is completed. Okay. Number 3 thing you should never do as a manager, never add additional work onto your team. It's too easy to say, sure, we got it. Yeah, we're good. Yeah, of course, we got this. But it's rare that adding more workload to your team is the right decision. In fact, it's almost never the right call. As a manager, you need to learn to say no. If you're meeting with other managers, simply waiting for another team to volunteer often does the trick nicely. Otherwise, instead of saying yes to additional work, practice saying, sure, we could take that on. Based on our current workload, we'll be able to get started on that during sprint X. Unless you need it done sooner, in which case you'll need to talk to some others and we'll need to figure out how to shuffle things around. Remember, bringing in additional work means something else has to go. Okay, number 4 thing a manager should never do, take sides. Never, ever, never, under any circumstance, ever, no matter what, ever, never, ever, are we getting back together. Oh, wait, no, that's a Taylor Swift song. Hold on. Never, ever take sides between direct reports and your team. Let me tell you a quick story that illustrates why. I once had a disagreement between 2 team members, a developer and a tester. Go figure. After discussing with the quality engineer, it appeared the developer was clearly in the wrong. So I told the quality engineer that I supported him and we'd resolve the issue with the developer. Then I had a discussion with the developer and discovered there was quite a bit more to the story that wasn't part of the context that I heard before. Now I had to walk back what I'd said previously to the quality engineer. I realized that taking sides at all was a total mistake, and that as a manager, the right approach would have been to stay neutral and listen to both sides. As a manager, sometimes you're the judge in the courtroom, not the prosecutor or defense attorney. Keep that in mind. And then finally, number 5, never make all the important decisions yourself. You need to be aware of all the important decisions and going-ons in a team, but if you're making all the important decisions yourself, then you're doing things wrong. I'd even go as far as to say very wrong. I've seen a video online with people who are self-proclaimed experts, but one of the things that I remember from this specific video is how, in the video, you talked about how and why you want to train your people to be decision makers and not followers. it also reveals a number of things that could prevent you from reaching this goal. So if you have thoughts, if you have questions, if you have concerns about how to do this, make certain you reach out, because each of these things add value and they're pretty easy to avoid. But it's one of these things that I'll just summarize and say good managers already know that these things are wrong, but sometimes they lose sight of the focus because they're being driven by output driven leadership, and they don't rewind and revert back to, oh, these are the best things that I should not be doing. So take this as a short list of things you shouldn't be doing, and I can promise you'll be happy you did. That's going to do it for today's episode. I hope that you enjoyed it. If you have a comment, question, or concern, reach out to me. Learn more at AgileDad.com. We'd love to hear from you. As always, we encourage you to stay healthy, stay well, and stay agile, my friends. Until next time, do take care.